Hello, it's me again, your girl. Today talking about starting over after 40 and why Asia made sense for me. So thank you for sticking around. If you're, in a space of rebuilding, recreating, then you are in the right place. So one of the things that I wanted to be clear is that like I'm still in the middle of rebuilding my life after 40. And one of the things that I wanted to be clear in this video was that I was getting really clear on the kind of environment that I needed in Asia. Asia is vast, right? It's so different. And the clarity of that is what led me to Hong Kong. So, all of my experience, as many of you know, or if you don't, I've lived in the United Arab Emirates, or the AKA the UAE. I've lived in mainland China. I lived specifically in Shanghai. I've also lived in Thailand. I lived in Bangkok specifically. So, I've had my taste. I've also spent extensive time in Africa, which I was in Egypt. So I've had my, experiences around the globe. And I was really clear about Asia and then specifically about being in Hong Kong. I came to this clarity because, especially living in Thailand, which is beautiful, weather is nice, I recognized that I wasn't confused and I knew that I didn't want to keep forcing myself to function in environments that didn't feel aligned to the season or like the goals that I like have for myself, being a New Yorker, I think it's just like in me to be driven. Um, and I didn't want to feel guilty for feeling driven and like wanting to achieve my goals. And I also didn't want to like shrink myself. So for me, thinking about like Hong Kong and being in a space where there is that kind of go-getter energy and vibe and just like thinking about all the things I wanted to accomplish, it was like a no-brainer, you know? I'm in a season of building and I wanted an environment that could anchor my ambition and not drain it. So I didn't realize like how important that was until like having the time in the US to like really reflect and think. Um, and generally I would say Asia just makes sense to me overall. And Hong Kong made sense for this specific chapter. Um, I think that there are some places that, like, I feel like if you are taking a pause in life, like you might need a slower pace or just like a change in weather. And then there's some places where, you can, take like a sabbatical. But for me, when I started to think about what place can I possibly live that has that beat or energy of like ambition that would still allow me to live overseas. And because of the community that I've created in Asia, just, I have community in Shanghai, community in Thailand, community in UAE. I wanted to make sure that I still was close to that and not too far from that. So for that reason, Asia, and specifically Hong Kong made more sense. Um, and just, yeah, I think that especially now when it is becoming popular, or even, I mean, I don't know if it's becoming popular, but there's so many people talking about moving abroad. And I do think that certain countries get highlighted, but I always say that like once you start knowing yourself, once you start knowing the things that you, excuse me, once you start knowing the things that you actually need, sometimes it's not going to line up with the things that the people are saying. And I'm just kind of giving you permission, just like I'm giving myself permission to being in a place that maybe it's not maybe the most popular within your sphere or your group. Um, and I do think that certain places serve a purpose depending on where you are, like in your life, what you are in your values, where you are and what you need. And yeah, so yeah, if you're in a space of like recreating, rebuilding, maybe you are, changing countries or states, please share them in the comments. Like what is some of your motivation to go somewhere else? And we let's support each other here. So thank you so much again for watching. And if there's a question or something you'd like me, please don't hesitate to share in the comments. Thank you so much.